Well, welcome to another episode of Light Vision Art, the Q&A session that we do. This branded as part of a program that we do called Light Vision Art, the Educated Eye. Of course, this is another exciting episode that we have that we're bringing to you. Of course, we got a new person in our room. Rory, and we'll be bringing Rory in just a little while. We got you on mute right now, Rory. So, but we'll bring you on in just a little while. Just hang tight, and we'll get to you. And we'll have others that will be coming in to the chat room soon. I'm expecting Jeff Coleman to come in. He's a regular. He's part of our guild group as well. Probably get Christopher E. Hamrick into the chat. And of course, if you want to be a part of the program, it's very easy. You can find us at Live Vision Art, the Educated Eye. You can go to our YouTube page and find us there. Of course, you can also be a part of the show. You can call in on our phone number at 615-547-3355, or you can email me at livevisionart@gmail.com. So there's several ways for you to be a part of the program. You can be invited, as I did Rory. He's been invited on the show today. We invite others as well. Sometimes they can make it to the show, sometimes they can't. And in any case, we are glad to have you as part of our show. And one thing about the show, you can always listen to the re-air. Just follow the link on the show. Then you can go to see the show at a later date if you have to miss part of the show. But Alfonso Ashworth, of course, I am the facilitator and instructor of Light Vision Art. And we have a great program that's lined up with that. Of course, we come on Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 on the show. And you can see that you can come in there as well. We do a darkroom series. We call it Darkroom in Use. We talk about issues of the darkroom, how it relates to Lightroom, Photoshop, and other programs that are used today. And if that's not enough, you can find me weekdays on radio with Lion Chasers Radio with Lonnie Poindexter, broadcast out of Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. I am his guest host on the show on Wednesdays. So you can find me on that program. And get me in the classroom, Light Vision Art, the Educated Eye. You can be a part of our 16-week course. Comes with workbook material. You get all the tools that you need. You're in the classroom for 2 hours a week. We meet on Tuesday afternoons. We give you work assignments. And of course, you do have to show that you're learning the course. So you do have to take a little test, and we give you a certificate as part of that program. But we also do what we call private classes, and those are 4-hour classes that we work with. And of course, you get to see my ugly mug for a couple of hours a week. And of course, as I said, you get your workbook material. And by all means, if you want great lenses and you're a Canon shooter, we recommend you use WeBeLenses.com. That's, of course, WeBeLenses.com. Get your Canon quality lenses, your top-notch L series, the best that they offer. You can rent them from WeBeLenses.com with Jim and Marianne Young, and they will help you get the lens that's right for you in a timely manner. But of course, as I always say, it's time to get in with the program. And before we get started, I want to honor our troops. Of course, we honor our veterans every day. I don't miss a day that I don't thank our veterans. But of course, we just want to give them an honor. We're going to play a short video as Jeff. Welcome to the show, Jeff. We'll bring you in just a minute. Of course, Jeff Coleman is a regular on the program. But we're going to do just a little bit of a video montage to honor our veterans. So sit tight, and enjoy the clip.
Hear them shout, counter marching all about, and those caissons go rolling along. For it's high, high in the field artillery. Count out your numbers, fellas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And wherever you go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, they celebrate on day. Through our nice night shore, and to the port, until we meet once more. It's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell to win our victory. Send us is a guide, our pledge and motto too. We're always ready to or die. I constant we fight for you. On we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to lead our thunder. And the boys give it the gun. And we dive, starting a flame from under, up with one terrible roar. We live in fame, the down in flame, for nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor free. We are proud to claim the title of United States of
Well, what else can be said? We want to thank and honor those who have served and are serving. And of course, we can never do that enough. As I said earlier, we are Live Vision Art Q&A. We're going to be talking about an important topic today called Under Promise and Over Deliver. And if you want to be a part of that, you can call in, of course, at 615-547-3355 or email me at livevisionart@gmail.com. Welcome to the program, Mr. Jeff. How you doing today, sir? I'm not getting your sound, big guy. You know, we had that problem last time. Let me see if I can unmute you. Okay, you're muted. So unmute yourself, Jeff. You there? Okay. You may have to come back in again. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's holler at Rory. Rory is new to our program. Welcome, Rory. How you doing? Are you muted, Rory? Unmute yourself, Rory. See where you can mute. All right.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Hi, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad that you have opportunity to come on this morning. Of course, we met at the Wilson County Photography Guild recently, and I'm glad that you're able to get in. Of course, you are a photographer that's new to me, but I'm sure you're not new to photography. How long you been in photography, Rory?
Amateur wise, I've been shooting for about 10 years, but I really am still green about a lot of it.
Right. Well, we welcome you to the show, and of course, we'll bring you in as we move along. If you got any questions, of course, you can either type them or you can comment as we go along. I see that we got Jeff back into the queue. Let's see if we can get Jeff on this time. Hey, Jeff.
Are we live now?
We are live.
All right. I have no idea what's doing that.
It seemed like it does it the first time, and then after you log
back. I'm running dual screens, and there's something about signing when you turn that screen on. If I don't turn it on before
you log in,
I log in. If I turn it on afterwards, it does something weird. So who knows? Electronics is great when it works, but
when it doesn't. Of course. Hey, Jeff, were you ever in the service? Did you ever serve?
No, I wasn't. No, I have a great respect for them guys that have done that. Whether they were engaged in battle or not. Anytime you put your life out there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, we recognize those who sacrifice. What about you, Rory? Did you ever serve?
Okay. I did not serve.
Did not serve. Well, I'll tell you, most of us have had someone that has served in our family.
Yes, my father was a Marine.
So your father was in the Marines. Very good. I'll tell you what, proud honor on a proud branch of our armed services, along with the other branches. But we just wanted to give them honor this morning. We're talking about today, and we're going to get started. And before I do, I want to give a little bit of shout out to some web pages. Of course, you know that we do the Wilson County Photography Guild, and you can go to our website at wcpgonline.org. Check out our directory, check out our calendars, and also check out the latest photo that won Photo of the Month. And Kenna Dossett, if I'm not mistaken, is our photographer this time. Am I right, Jeff?
That's correct.
Isn't it Kenna Dossett? She did this timed exposure and captured the Milky Way. And of course, that's very fascinating. You can go up there and check it out at Wilson County Photography Guild. Also, check us out at Custom Color Photo Lab at .lifepix.com. If you need printing services, if you need to create Christmas cards, books or calendars, or any type of decorative devices, objects, you can go to our website. And you also visit us in lab at Custom Color Photo Lab on West Main in Lebanon, Tennessee. Check me out at Light Vision Art, The Educated Eye, my website. Go to lightvisionart.simdiff, that's SIMDIF.com. And you can go there and check out all the information that I provide for, tips, tricks, or whatever you want to call them, contact information, all sorts of links that you can go to. And Christopher E. Hamrick, we do promote Christopher. He's an excellent photographer. Go to ChristopherEHamrick.com and check out Christopher. Christopher is knowledgeable a lot of the technical aspects of photography, what to do, what to don't do, that kind of thing. Infrared, if you want to know about infrared, he knows all about that. And he's a film shooter from way back. So check out Christopher E. Hamrick, and also check us out there at Wilson County Photography Guild. All right, Let's dig in. Under promise, over deliver. One of the biggest issues that I run into, guys, is especially with amateur in the amateur market, is when people venture off into doing things that they're not capable of doing. And then when they fail, they make excuses. And the last thing that a client wants to hear is an excuse. Think about it in your own life. Say if you take your car in to get a repair, or the guy says, I'm coming over this afternoon to repair your air conditioner and it's 102 degrees outside. Or you have an appliance, or you have plumbing problems, or just in general, life itself happens. When people make you a promise, you expect them to keep it. If someone says they're going to have your car repaired tomorrow, you expect to pick it up tomorrow. You don't want to hear that they didn't get their lunch break, or they had to go check on something, on their own time, and they failed to get your car repaired, and now you have no transportation for work. How mad does that get you? I know. I'm nodding my head too, Rory. Yes. You get very upset, don't you, Jeff?
Yes, very much.
So when a photographer does a gig or does a job or promises something, you should do everything you can to over deliver. For example, if you tell your client you're going to have that product in 2 weeks, you should do everything you can to have it in 1 week and have it the way that they expect it. By all means, don't wait and have it 6 weeks later. And then tell them, well, I didn't realize that we were going on vacation, or I forgot I was supposed to go to a soccer game, and we didn't know that we was going and we we're going to be back for a week. Clients hate to hear that. They don't want to hear your excuses. So under promise, over. Jump in, Jeff. What do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, I don't get into, pay for my services at this point. I've been asked a lot, but I don't know. It's not that I don't think I can do it. A lot of times I just don't have the equipment to do a lot of these things. And I don't want to jump into offering somebody a service that right off the bat, I don't feel like I've got enough equipment to handle it. It's like lighting, you need good lighting. I don't have a lot of lighting. I'm, shooting landscape, I rely on Mother Nature most of the time. So.
Right. But if you talk about it in general, you can see how that can be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people offering services now, and that's great to have a little hobby, but it's you're out taking pictures professionally. You expect a lot. You expect that person understands what they're doing, and when they don't, when you get the pictures back and you're looking at them and you're like, I've got to go do this whole thing, pay for this to be done all over again because of this.
And especially in the commercial marketplace, I do a lot of commercial stuff is what I mostly do these days. So, and I've done the other thing as well, where I work with children at Christmas and all that. Matter of fact, I had somebody come in the shop this morning that wanted me to do Santa Claus pictures at one of the local banks. And I told him I'm too covered up in the holidays to be able to do that. And that I would probably try to find somebody in our guild group that may be interested in it. It's a very huge, it'd be a very good job for someone at Christmas if you have time. It's going to be several banks where they have Santa Claus and the kids come in and you go in, take pictures and, get the, get the images to the customers. But, all right, Rory, jump in, my friend. What do you think about?
I'm just not much of a portrait photographer. It's not an interest of mine.
Right.
So, but I want to learn it just so I have the ideas behind it. But I'd rather catch things naturally.
Yeah.
If I take a picture of somebody, I want them in a natural situation.
Yeah. But when we're talking about in general, under promise, over deliver.
Well, I actually owned a screen printing business for quite a few years, and I was like you. I would tell them 2 weeks, but I'd have it to them in a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the way I always did things. I always felt like making sure to, surprise them with getting it done sooner than they expected.
Well, that's a good word. That's a good word that you just used. Surprise them, wow them. What we call the prestige or the closing. How you close out is better than how you start in a lot of ways.
Correct.
And if you fail to produce, the last thing, like I said, the last thing they want to hear is you say, well, my machine broke down. Well, the client don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care that your machine broke down. They have T-shirts that they've ordered and they've got an event coming and they told their people that they were going to have shirts.
Yep.
So when you do what you say and then you over deliver, man, guess what? They're going to come back to you again. You may not
for life.
You may not be the cheapest, but you're the most reliable.
Correct.
And in photography, that's more important. Your reliability sometimes can be better than your expertise in the knowledge of the subject. Like you said, being a portrait photography may not be your thing, or taking pictures of, light with the lights may not be Jeff's thing. But in the overall scheme of things, you still operate with that same mentality.
Yeah.
Correct.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, it's a little different twist, but it's exactly the same thing I've talked to you a couple of times about is your equipment. When you take your digital prints or whatever to a service, and you expect that service to give you a good quality picture back. I mean, you've put a lot into it. You've done your Photoshop work or whatever, and you've tweaked it, and you feel like you got the white balances correct and things, and you get it back, and it looks like it's all orangey looking or off, colors off, and it's really, when it goes back to it, you get looking, and they don't keep their equipment calibrated.
Right.
They don't. It's amazing. I'm not going to name names, but that's the reason I ended up in your shop. I moved around when Wolf went out, and I started moving around trying to find somebody that really done a good job on printing.
Right.
And it's these walk-in places, they do it cheap, and they do a mass number but you're rolling dice, I guess, when you walk in there.
Well, and that's the same thing as you just said with equipment. It's the same thing. You go to an equipment place and that the people behind the counter have very little knowledge of the equipment, and you depended on them to help you get the right equipment. It can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
And very, and if you get the wrong equipment, and then you get home with it and you start trying to use it, man, your blood gets to boiling. And you want to, then you discover they closed for the day and they have no service number and they have nobody that you can call, and it's going to be Monday before you can talk to anybody. I mean, it ruins your weekend. It will ruin your weekend
Yep.
when that happens.
You've told me how many times you calibrate. And
Yeah.
what I was told by this service, their calibration was done about once a month by a service tech that come by.
Right. No, we do ours.
Now, how can you wait for a whole month
to get your machine recalibrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And clients are like, you know, what am I paying you for? And you don't even know how to calibrate, and you're operating the equipment. I mean, that's sort of, you know, that's nerve-wracking by itself. But Rory, you know, of course, you being a former business owner, and I'm sure you at some point you purchased equipment from different manufacturers or whatnot.
Yes.
What was one of the key elements to how you purchased your equipment and who you purchased it from?
Well, to be honest with you, it's a blessing to have the internet, because you can do a lot of research on equipment and qualities of equipment and people's impressions. Just like you say, your print shop, you know, I would probably, if I didn't know you, would probably investigate and see, you know, people that have responded to service there and things of that sort. You know, right. I'm one of those that follows through and looks for the better position to be in, you know, when I go to get something.
Well, before the internet, and I've been in business since 1986, so of course I prelude the internet in terms of what it is today. In order for you to get the right equipment, you had to do a lot of homework.
Basically.
Trade magazines. That's mainly where you would start, is trade magazines.
Trade shows.
Yeah, you would start calling brokers, different outlets that supply the equipment. And then you would ask people in the industry, what kind of experience did you have with this company?
Mm-hmm.
Did they get their equipment to you on time? Did they service it like they said they would? Did they honor their contracts? All of that went into buying your equipment. And today, we don't have the luxury of dealing with people one-on-one. We do go on the internet, but a lot of time we look at surveys that are not qualified.
That is a downfall.
Yeah, you look for something with 5 stars on it and 3 stars, and you base your opinion based on that as to whether that company is legit. And you'd be surprised how many times you get nailed because they don't deliver on time.
Or them reviews you're reading, paid reviews, because that's a big thing now is just people going on the internet writing reviews, and they don't know anything about the product. They've been paid to do that.
Yeah, and you have to be very careful when you do that. And I tell you, one thing that'll help out is being a part of a club or a group.
Very much so.
Yeah, like what we have, the Wilson County Photography Guild. You can ask around and ask people in the group, well, what was your experience with custom color, or what was your experience with say one of the places in Nashville or surrounding communities when it comes to equipment, and were they friendly? Now, I'm not too big on friendly. I like for you to be honest. We don't have to be friends so much. I mean, I'm not going to go fishing with you. I'm not going to leave and go hang out with you at the park. I just want you to be honest with me. That's my big deal when I'm dealing with companies. If I discover that they're not honest with me, I will cut them off to a slow drip. I've switched companies based on that alone, because years ago, I did get stiffed. You know, I was stiffed on a hefty purchase of some photo finishing equipment. I purchased this equipment from a broker out of New York that I felt like was a good, reputable company. Well, they sold me the equipment sight unseen. Of course, I sent, once the equipment was located, I sent people out to make sure the equipment was in the place where they said it was, and it was. But when it was time for us to close the deal, the broker lied to me and did not tell me that the people decided not to sell the equipment. The broker went to try to find the equipment somewhere else and didn't inform me. And it was 6 months, and I don't even want to give you a figure, but it was high, that I did not have the equipment. And come find out later, this broker lost his license in the state that he was in because he had done several other people this way. So I'm very leery when I buy equipment. I want to make sure I know everything about the manufacturer, everything about the salespeople, everything about the company before I start signing any deals or making any agreements with them. Because once you sign that contract, you are a partner with whoever you agreeing with. You're their partner. And if they decide to give you the short arm,
Yeah.
and there you are. But we're talking today about under promise and over deliver. Now we can talk about that in equipment, talk about it in your relationship with any other photographers, and your other experiences with other people in photography. You know, my pet peeve, Rory and Jeff, is when people don't show up on time.
Oh, I'm very frustrated with that.
That's a big deal with me. It's when somebody tells me, you know, especially if I'm working with them on a project, and I say, look, we're gonna leave, the event is at 3 o'clock, but we're gonna leave at 1 o'clock because I want to make sure that we have at least a little time for traffic or, you know, a flat tire or whatever. And the person don't show at 1 and then don't call me. Well, that person just guarantees something. They're never going to get a call from me ever again.
Yep.
I don't care how good they are. You ever had that experience, Rory? Is that something that would bother you?
It bothers me. I mean, I'm a person that if I'm supposed to be there at 1, I'm there at 1:15 or 15 minutes to 1.
Right.
I'm that kind of a person. And if people can't keep a schedule, I understand there's emergencies, but
Right.
that, like you say, then call, inform me. You know, let's communicate about the issue. Other than that, you're right. I dish them off. Forget it. I'm not going to deal with you again.
Yeah, because it puts your reputation at stake,
Mhm.
especially if you're the one in charge. You're the head honcho, and your reputation is at stake because you're waiting on one person to show up. Now, Jeff, of course, you do a lot of outdoor stuff, and you work with groups as well, because I know you work with your church group. And y'all just got back from a trip up in East Tennessee, am I correct?
That's right. That's
And
right.
when you're dealing with groups of people, that's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, more and more I learned in photography. I mean, there has to actually be a leader. There has to be a boss to tell them what, you know, get over here and stand and you know, I guess I'm learning more and more. You've got to direct people. They don't just, you know, they're like cows or something. You got to herd them around and get them in the right positions.
Right.
Well, and it requires a certain amount of patience
Yeah,
on the individual's part.
especially when you're working with young children and a lot of them around. They're, you know, beach is another example. You know, I've done a lot of shots on the beach. I mean, you got little children that want to run and play and jump in the water, and hey, that's good. Go over and catch them.
Right.
That may be the best shot you got all night, but
Yeah. Take that
you
opportunity.
got to expect that. But you got to allow yourself, you got to manage your time enough to go back and get the rest of them. And I'm finding also it helps. I had to have an aid, and you can't do it all yourself a lot of times.
Well, and that's true. Having someone you can trust to
Yep.
be your second hand, and they need to know what you're doing too. So everybody needs to be on the same page, so that I'm not having to babysit someone that I brought along to help me. The last thing I want to do is have to babysit them. And I need to rely on them being able to make a decision for themselves. If somebody's coming to me every 2 seconds asking me a question, then they're sort of impeding me or stopping me from working with my client. So a good helper is very important. And it's like picking the right caddy.
Yep.
Right coach.
Yep.
You can
in a group setting like that, they can be kind of setting up your next shot, getting your people together for your next shot. So that's where I find that especially in a large group. So.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rory.
Well, I was just going to say that you have to find that person, and not all of us are that way. I'm probably a lot like you, where you're not going to be my friend, but I'm honest and I'll get the job done, but my personality sometimes reflects a little more negative than positive. And you need to find that one person to help you that has the opposite of you, that has that positive and patient type personality that, can deal with those kind of things and do it in a very professional way. And it's really good to find somebody like that.
Yeah. And I have analyzed and been more like a fly on the wall for some photographers, and I've been asked to and have been paid to come to their events just to grade them. They know I got a lot of experience in certain areas, weddings. I got a lot of experience with video, with still photography, with the business end of photography, training, teaching, all of that. I've got a lot of experience under my belt. So a lot of times I will have photographers ask me, well, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? And one of the things that I have done in the past is just go to their event and be like a person there, sort of grading them. And those who take heed do better a lot of times.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
And sometimes you just have to be brutally honest with them. And that's hard, but it's for their own good. I'm a writer, and if I didn't take constructive criticism from my editor, then I could, I'm not going to become a better writer. So I have had to tell people like, you just don't have the right assistants.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good people, but they need to know as much as you do about what you're doing. That's when you got the right person helping you. It's when they know as much about what you're doing as you do. Because sometimes you need somebody that has your back, and you have to know they're going to make the right decision. And that's a valuable asset, a very valuable asset. And sometimes that can be the difference in how your delivery goes over. Like if you got somebody that's supposed to be helping you, but they're hurting you, and then you got a product to deliver, and then they fail to do their part.
Right.
So that can be another of those issues. Now, on a smaller scale of under promise and over deliver, it's just how we do things with others, how we work with other people in general. Now, we got a nice little clique, a nice little group in our guild, and Jeff will probably testify that we've had people come, people go. We've had people, stick around longer than others. We have some people that don't come every month. They may come once a year. But we will always help that person no matter what in our group. And so we're very open in our group about that. And we're very open about what our objectives are. And that's a rare combination, is to get a group of people together and everybody sort of be on the same page about the goals and the objectives and the mission of a group. Jeff, how long you been with our group? How long you been in the guild?
I
know
2 years, 3 years, 2 years. I don't know. I was just sitting here looking. It's been well over 2 years, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in my class. Were you in the group? Yeah, you were in our group before you took class, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Guild group. You and your lovely wife, of course, were. And
but yeah, there's a vast amount of experience in our group, and I mean, Roy was asking me about portrait photography and things like that, and lighting, and I can't remember the gentleman's name. He's like one of the ones that doesn't come all the time, but you've had him on the show. Bob, yeah. Man, he's got his background in studio lighting and things like that is great, and I enjoyed him sharing that even on on the show. So.
Yeah, it's been a while. Bob hadn't been in a while, but
yeah.
He just said it. He's very talented, and I had him on the show about a year or so ago, maybe longer. That we had Bob on Light Vision Art Q&A, and he was very open about sharing his knowledge. And he came to our group and did a presentation when we were at the another location, but he did a demonstration on lighting that was very fascinating and very informative. So yeah, we got individuals, and I know a lot of the photographers, and most of them.
Not just photography, are related to photography, but we've had, people come in and talk about cleaning. Scott's done a cleaning. I would be interested to hear Jim talk about, lenses sometime and taking care of lenses. And I think it would probably be right down his alley.
Yeah. We had Jim on really early in the show.
Yeah.
With We Be Lenses. And that's why I like to advertise for him, and to let people know that we do have people that have equipment, and they can lead you in the right place of how to either rent their equipment or sell your equipment or buy new equipment. It's lots of information. And Rory, didn't you not shoot? Are you shooting Sony?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you don't have the mirrorless model. You've got the SLR. Am I correct? The digital SLR.
Yeah, it's a DSLR. It's the A58 Sony.
Okay. Yeah. Are you considering upgrading to say the mirrorless? I know we know that's the latest.
I'm not sure. I mean, like I say, a lot of this stuff is still green to me. There was reasons why I went with Sony back in the day, which was, I was talking to Jeff about. I mean, I still have my A100, the very first one that they put out there.
Yeah.
And I stayed with getting another Sony because of my lenses already. But in the fact of looking back now, Canon, you can find lenses anywhere.
Right.
And so Canon would have been a better choice just for the fact that you can find lenses everywhere, you know, and that's the reason why I felt I made the mistake, but I'm there and I'm going to deal with it right now.
Well, and you can get adapters today to where you can adapt different lenses to a box with the hole in it.
Yeah.
You're not stuck, you know, as you would have been a few years ago, and boxes with holes in them, or what I call cameras. You know, it's so many models, so many different, excuse me, I got a call, so many different models out there. And I'm not afraid to pick up and use any of them. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Most people cannot tell you from the image alone, just from the image, which camera was used. Is very rare.
You know, I was at the Nashville photography group, which where I met the couple that also belonged to the Wilson group, and that's how I got invited. But when I was there, you know, they had a photographer talk about, you know, a little bit about the different cameras, and you know, really, you're right on the aspect of the photo produced. The difference would be in the fact is, are you at a sporting event taking action photos? There's where you should concern yourself with which camera you might use or which brand would best reflect your best photography, you know. But for portrait or landscape, you know, you can get good images from a lot of different brands.
And my point is the viewer or the end user being capable of saying, oh, that's a Sony. Oh, that's a Pentax. Oh, that was we don't normally label our images that way when we're viewing them.
Right.
Look, a great shot is a great shot. I don't care who shot it.
I've seen good shots come off of a camera phone.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a little story. The person who won Best of Show at the Wilson County Fair, that shot was done on a cell phone.
Yep.
And it was a very simple shot of a dog looking through the door. And for whatever reason, it intrigued the judges. And the person had even tried to print the darn thing at home on their home printer. And the judges made them bring it up to me to have it printed so that it was on professional quality paper. Yeah. The image stood for itself. You know, it didn't matter. You know, the image could have been printed on paper, bond paper for that matter. But at the end of the day, the image stood on its own legs. Yeah. And that's what we have to start trying to focus on, to coin a phrase. We need to start focusing on quality of imagery in terms of the composition, you know, how it tells a story, you know, those sort of things. How does that shot evoke an emotion?
You bring up something that I'm actually going to be doing tomorrow for a couple. They lost their son in a car accident just a few months back, and he was part of the wrestling team out at Wilson Central, which my son was. And she asked me to do some family photography for them, and I told her, you know, I'm just not really good at portrait. I'll do what I can. If you don't like them, you can throw them away. If you like them, they're yours, you know. But you're right, the composition makes the difference. And so the kid was into fishing. His dad was into fishing. He was kind of a fun, crazy kind of kid and that kind of stuff. So what I have is I'm meeting them down at Cashville Lake, and I'm having them bring the fishing poles, the fishing gear, the singlet he used to wrestle in, maybe sunglasses, any personal items. And I plan on making a composition that will enlighten him and show them memory of him in their pictures, you know. And I think that's a very important fact.
And that's more important to them than what camera are you using.
Exactly.
Or, you know, for us geeks, we're all into that, you know, hey, what camera, which lens did you use? What was the shutter speed? Did you have to do some Photoshop? Did you do it in Lightroom? Did you do it?
Yeah.
We're big on that. But for the end user, if it don't invoke an emotion, then you didn't tell a good story. You failed to tell a good story. And that's what we're out to do, is tell a great story.
That's the word you need. That's the great word, the story.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what the composition should be about.
Yeah, about telling a great story. And of course, a lot of the shots we see, Jeff, in our group, you know, we look at the technical things and go, wow, that was a tough shot. You know, it took you 5 minutes to do that, you know, that kind of thing. But if it don't trigger that emotion, you don't get that wow factor. You don't really get that wow factor that you expect. And I think that's why people who see our images sometimes, they don't get it. They don't care what shutter speed you would use it. I mean, it don't matter to them. Am I right?
Well, it's one of those things like that I voted on the pictures that were displayed there, which set an image in my mind and showed a story. And it was the lady that did the tree trunk with the colored leaves on it.
Yeah,
it had a lot to it as a composition.
That's John. Ain't that right, Jeff?
Oh, the stump.
Tree stump, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she sees things that a lot of times I pass up out in the woods. So, I mean, she's one of these, I'll be shooting and not looking back. And she'll get the things behind me. And I'll be, you know, trying to get this shot perfect. And it's like, where did you see that? I didn't see that.
Right. And I tell Johnny has a good eye. She really does. And she's humble enough to want to get better. And I see her work getting better and better. A lot of people recognizing her work in our group. And I think that's a good honor for her because, you know, it don't matter to me, really. I don't look at people and go, well, they're the most noticed photographer. You know, they're the one that has the biggest name. Well, that person may not be telling the story to get the message through all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of time it's the novice that gets the message through. And that's what we're talking about this morning, under promising and over delivering in whatever respect that may be in your life as a photographer, or, you know, maybe you big on equipment, maybe that's your thing. Maybe you big on the printing end and that's your thing. Or maybe you just enjoy looking at other people's work. And I know some people that are like that. They just enjoy seeing other people's photography. Now, if you enjoy that and you want to see more of it, go to our website. Go to wcpgonline.org. If you go there, you can see our members' photos. You can also join the group, and there's contact information. We were established in 2010, so we're in our 6th year as a group. But this month's photo of the month was a timed exposure by Kenneth Dossett of the Milky Way and the trees silhouetted, and they were voted, and it was really a lot of really good shots this month. It was really hard to pick, but go there and also check out Christopher Hamrick's page. Christopher, he comes to our group from time to time. He's not a regular, but he has come and spoke to our group. Christopher is very knowledgeable in a lot of different areas of technology, lighting, cameras, the whole works. And he's matter of fact, he has a degree in photography. Go to also my page at Light Vision Art, The Educated Eye. Check us out with the photo tips, free video clips, live view. You can check out my streaming page. Matter of fact, you can go to our streaming page, and this show today is streaming there as we speak. And there's a video there that you may want to check out with a photographer that I call the dark room man. His name is Duke Tribble. He was on the show. Go there and check him out at lightvisionart.simdiff.com. Also check out customcolorphoto.livepics.com. You can find us over there as well. But guys, we got about a few minutes left. We're gonna wrap this up. Rory, give me about a minute of your thoughts on the show and what you're thinking about with Under Promise Over Deliver, or just if you want to make a comment in general, go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the invite, and I can see where, these kind of things are really what helps people along, those that are interested in learning more and those kind of things. There's always something you get away from everything that's out there, even if it's a little bit or it's a lot. But, it all helps. And if you want to go somewhere, and my whole intent right now is to learn more about photography, being a graphic artist. I want to combine the two as I move along in my career. So, I appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to the future ones. And thank you.
Well, we thank you for coming on today, Rory. And of course, graphics and photography go hand in hand. And I think it's a great venture that you're trying to go on to learn more about photography. Jeff, give us your final thoughts, big guy.
Hey, with the guild and even with the show, the way I look at it, and other ventures I've done in photography, I may go to 20. I may watch 20 shows. I may go to 20 groups. I pick up one thing in that 20. I'm doing great. Right. That may be the thing that turns your photography, turns you around in photography. But also inspiration. I mean, you look at some of these shots that Scott and Dagmar do, and others in the group. Right. We got a great group of photographers there, so they give me inspiration, really, to go out and try to do better.
Well, I tell you what, I really appreciate y'all coming on the show today, and as always, we're getting ready to wrap things up. Of course, myself personally, I'm somebody that enjoys other people, to see them grow, to see them, sort of become better at what they do. And like this presidential election, I'm glad that we got a new president. I voted for Donald Trump, and a lot of people I know don't like that, but so be it. I think we're going to move forward in this country and get some things straightened out. And just have to be honest about what you do. As a photographer, at the end of the day, your delivery is as much as your wind up. I mean, you can have a great wind up, but if you can't deliver that pitch, then you just all fluff and no flair. You don't really understand that until you've been in business. And I want to thank, of course, to anybody that views this show. Maybe you get something out of it, you glean a little bit out of the show. But as always, it's time for us to wrap things up, kind of end things on a good note. Thank you, Rory. Thank you, Jeff. God bless you. God bless America.